This is Scott Spears, Classic Championship Wrestling, and as all you fans know, coming up on Saturday night, February the 8th, right here in Marion, at the Steve Hogg Rec Center, located at 775 North Main Street, we are having another gigantic spectacular. It is Valentine Violence, and oh my goodness, the card is shaping up bigger and badder than any crowd or any card in Classic Championship Wrestling history. And one of the reasons for that is due to a man I'm joined on via telephone right now, our world champion. Can you believe it? He won the world title, won the Battle Royal back...
Would you step out of the way so I can talk to my fan? This is the world champion, Ox Baker. I won that tag team tournament. Nobody could believe it. There was guys in there with more skill than I did, smarter, stronger, but Ox Baker outfoxed him all. And at the end, Scott didn't want to do it, but he had to put that belt around my waist. And I called my real good friend the Russian Brute. You know, 30 years ago in Chicago and Illinois, we were the tag team champions there. He started out as just George the Russian. I named him the Russian Brute. I said, you know, Russian Brute, anybody can kick somebody when they're standing up, but I want you to kick them right in the face when they're on their hands. And he said, Ox, if we can ever get together, if we can ever tag up together, or you could manage me, whatever you want to. And I said, well, I have this opportunity because one guy's been stuck in my craw for 30 years, with Joe Pusevich, who goes now as Nikolai, you know, and I want to see him get beat. At this time, I probably don't want to put my belt on the line, but I want to get my Russian Brute in there. You think you can sign him up the 8th of February, Scott?
Well, as the fans will note, with interrupting my introduction there, this is our world champion, Mr. Ox Baker, the original, the one and only. So, Ox Baker, let me get this straight. You're asking me, coming up here in Ohio, Marion, Ohio, February the 8th, you want to bring a man who you have not been in business with for 30 years, the very destructive Russian Brute, no doubt about that.
I have followed his career. Don't think I don't know about him. I followed his career. He went out to California. They had this bar in front of the arena. He was beating people up so bad. He tried to go with Vince McMahon. And you know, the only reason I'm not in the 5 halls of fame is Vince McMahon has never tried me to use. He's never tried the Russian Brute. He's tried these other guys, but the Russian Brute is above and beyond all these guys you know. And with me managing in his corner, I only hope this Nikolai can get a manager for himself. Do you think he can get somebody in his corner?
Well, I think it's very possible, but you're telling me, now I want to get this straight, I want to turn the cards over on the table here, Ox Baker. You're telling me you're going to return to the corner after a 30-year absence with the Russian Brute, the man who you taught the hurt punch, as you have coined it, to face WWE Hall of Fame.
I don't know if you will know that Vern Gagne had me in the Russian Brute up there. We had one of the great matches of all time. He wrestled Sergeant Slaughter, and do you know at the end of it, with me guiding him, Sergeant Slaughter was a legend, but the Brute got his hand raised. Vern Gagne said, don't ever come back. I don't want to see you again. And that's the only reason we haven't tagged up. The promoters don't want to use him. Do you sure you want to use him, Scott?
You know what? It's not a matter of if I want to use him or not. It's a matter of if Nikolai Volkov, probably the most famous Russian wrestler in the history of wrestling, wants to take that match. So this afternoon, I knew, Ox, you were up to something because I know how you are. After working with you several events, I called up Hall of Famer Nikolai Volkov and I said, do you want to take on the Russian Brute, and with that nasty, devious scoundrel Ox Baker in his corner? I said that to him. And you know what Nikolai Volkov said, the Hall of Famer, the former tag team?
You know, you want to see us get beat. You cannot forget the water I threw in your face when you was announcing. You didn't say my name right. The fantastic Ox Baker, the world champion, by the way. And now I got the Russian Brute. And I want to tell you folks, you know, you couldn't be around when your mother and father were born, but you can go February 8th and see Ox Baker managing the Russian Brood against this Nikolai. You haven't said if Nikolai is going to get a manager yet.
Well, let me tell you, Nikolai told me. Nikolai said without question he will be there February the 8th. He's going to get on a Learjet from where he lives and fly in and knock not only the Russian Brute on his butt, but he's going to knock you, Ox Baker, on your
he better not lay his hand on me, because I have turned the Brute left. The Brute a couple of times didn't want to hit the guy or kick him. I said, kick him one more time for me. Show him that Ox Baker's your very, very good friend. And I wanted to tell you, if you haven't seen the Russian Brute, you haven't seen the best of them all. You know that I'm the best. You know I'm a great manager, a great wrestler, a great champion. And now I'm going to prove to you folks in Marion, Ohio, I can bring the Russian Brood after 30 years, and we will set that place on fire.
And Nikolai Volkov tells me that he's coming for you, Ox. But now, do you know this? There have been some stipulations added to this match. You asked one of them yourself right there. Will Nikolai Volkov have anybody in his corner?
Yeah.
Well, of course he will, because he knows how devious you are, and he's willing to announce who that is. And I get the pleasure right now of delivering this. Some people thought that maybe Nikolai would go out and get another wrestler. Maybe he'd get another wrestling manager. Maybe he'd get a friend. But you know what? He said, no, forget that. Nikolai Volkov, on this date of February the 8th here in Marion, Ohio, in his corner will be, let's look at the credentials of this man, a former player for the Ohio State Buckeyes football team, a former player for the Cleveland Browns NFL pro football team. He's an author. He's a former state senator here in Ohio. And by the way, Ox, I don't know if you knew this or not. If you would have read this man's book, you would have found out that 30 years ago he wrestled a bear. So wrestling is no strange thing to him. He is the mule Dick Shafrath.
You know, I don't care who you get in his. You can get 5 guys in his corner, but me whispering in the Russian Brute's ear and him using the fantastic hurt punch. For 40 years, I've been undefeated with that hurt punch, and the Russian Brute is the only man I took aside and showed him how to do it. And I said, Russian Brute, because when you wrestled Sergeant Slaughter, you only hit him one time. I want you to hit Nikolai 2 or 3 or 4. I don't want him moving at the end of that. And folks, I don't care what you're doing February 8th. If you want to see one of the great ones of all times, the Russian Brood and Ox Baker in Marion, Ohio. I'm all so excited. I can't wait till February. And if you get in my way again, Scott, you might get some more water.
Well, I have a fleet of lawyers, which will be on hand on February the 8th. You won't get near me. But these stipulations are not done yet, Mr. Baker. Because of the severity of this match, people felt, do you know, you're a follower of the Olympics, and the Winter Olympics, which comes around once every 4 years, will be kicking off the night before our event, February the 7th. Winter Olympics this year being held in Russia, of all places. And because of the severity of this match, Nikolai has asked, and has been granted by the board of directors, that this match be a flag match. You and the Brute representing Russia, Nikolai representing these United
Russia
States.
in the Olympics, how many times have they won the ice skating? Every time they've been in there. The Russians are unbeatable. And how many... There's been more world champion wrestlers from Russia than any country in the world. And if he thinks he can, he said he's going to idolize America. Well, I want to idolize Russia with my Russian Brute. And I can guarantee at the end of the match, the referee will only have to do one thing, and that is to raise the Brute's hand. And I will applaud him, and the people will know that the Russians are still the best of them all.
I'm glad you bring that up. That's another great point, Ox. The referee, once again, because of the severity of this match, because we know how you are, Ox, and you have Dick Shafrath over in the other corner. You've got the Russian Brute, 6'9", 300 pounds. You've got Nikolai Volkov, a huge, huge man himself. We could not have a regular referee. We could not have a wrestling referee for this match. Oh, yeah, I know you didn't know about this. We've went to the Ohio State University. We went to Columbus, Ohio. We've found a man, special guest referee. He's an author of a very popular book out just last year. He is the father of 2 Ohio State Buckeyes. He has coached many teams in Columbus, Ohio, and he has also, Ox, worked for that very same Ohio State University that Dick Shafrath is from. And by the way, this man stands well over 6 foot tall. He's well over 300 pounds.
I don't care about it. I want to give you a stipulation you didn't know about.
Now, hold on.
If I interfere in any way in that match, he's automatically lose. I don't have to interfere with the Russian brute. I just have to sit there and applaud him as he takes Nikolai Volkov down to the mat.
Well, let me announce this referee, Ox. It's Satch Sullinger, who I'm sure all the Ohio fans are very familiar with. The legendary Satch Sullinger will be in that squared circle that night, reffing this match between those behemoths, and I'm sure he will make sure, Ox, that you don't get in the way. And by the way, I'm going to take that as a legal stipulation right there, that you just said if you interfere, your man's disqualified. Absolutely.
Because, other managers think they have to interfere to make their guy look good. I don't have to make the Russian brute look good. He looks good himself, and all I have to do is applaud his victory.
Well, that remains to be seen, because Nikolai Volkov is no slouch.
I know of his reputation, and he a couple of times he said, I'll wrestle anybody but Oxbig. And me and Nikolai never in 40 years had a match against each other. We've been in several terrors, but never wrestled one another. And now he's going to wrestle my Russian brute, who I want you to let him know he beat Sergeant Slaughter on USPS, whatever that station is. In Minnesota, he already beat the Sergeant Slaughter, and he's going to beat Nikolai the 8th of February. Write that down in your book.
Well, I tell you something I did write down when I was talking to Nikolai earlier on. Ox, you say you never wrestled Nikolai, but he doesn't like you. He doesn't care for you.
You don't like me either, Scott, but does that make any difference? I had to throw that water on you. You were so hot in announcing them matches, and I even heard you getting a special announcer with you to help you out in that night. Is that true?
That very well could be. That very well could be. But we don't want to let that cat out of the bag just yet.
Oh, no.
We've done it. But Ox, the thing about it is Nikolai doesn't like you. And I think once he walks through the Russian brute, he'd like nothing more than to maybe take that world title off of you. Maybe get his hands around your neck. I'd love that.
I don't have to worry about that because I know he's not going to get by my Russian brute. I said, I need a real great win. I'm going to give you one in Marion, Ohio, the 8th of February. You're going to beat Nikolai Volkov. You're going to knock him down. You're going to hurt punch him. You're going to step on him. Ha ha! That's all well and good, but I do want to bring up something before we let you off the phone. I know you're busy there doing all your devious things, but the truth of the matter is that you are the world champion, and I don't know if the fans know this, but I'm going to cue them into this. You won the world title on December the 21st here in Ohio. This coming week will be January 21st, and you will be in violation of your 30-day non-defense contract of that title, which means you could be stripped of the title. Now, I know Friday, and you know that your lawyers, your legal team, approached the offices of Classic Championship Wrestling and are trying to get you out of that title defense. Do you have a comment on that? All I can tell you is the only reason I hadn't defended my title, and I wanted to do it you don't have the quality of wrestlers to get in the ring with me.
Well, listen, I'm sure.
Wrestler. Get someone with a reputation, and I'll put that title up. You ain't going to steal it from me. You're not going to take it from me. I got it locked up, and nobody's going to touch it until I defend it.
Well, listen, Ox, they're putting Nikolai Volkov, Bobo Brazil Jr., the 500-pound Uncle Hog. I'm sure they'd all be more than willing to put their John Hancock on a contract against you.
We'll talk about when I'm there February 8th as I'm watching my Russian brute win his match with my great heart punch. Heart punch, I can't take the heart punch because that would stand still, but I have the heart punch, and you can hear a guy scream when that punches drove into his body, and we're going to have a great win February 8th. Mark that down. February 8th.
February 8th, and I want to let the fans also know that that very same day of February the 8th, you'll be able to catch Oxbaker, Nikolai Volkov, and a surprise guy who we're going to announce very soon, signing autographs at U.S. Gold on Mount Vernon Avenue at 2 p.m. that afternoon. Then following the event, and you'll want to come to this event, what's left of Oxbaker, and that might just be a tiny little...
I'm going to bring my autograph pictures. I'm going to bring my brand new cookbook. Folks, Ox wants you to come and see his man, the Russian Brute. Let's say it together. Raise his arm up the air at the end of that match. No matter what the fans, at the end of the match, he's going to get his hand raised up in the air. And
after the event, we'll be over at Sister's Pizza, just an earshot up the road there on Main Street for the after party of this big event, Oxbaker. If we'll pick up what's left.
Well, they better have some good food because the winner always likes to eat good.
Well, I saw you put I saw you put away some hot dogs last time, Oxbaker.
Only 6. The only reason I did that, the guy didn't have enough ketchup mustard to put on him. He wouldn't even shop it. He said, Ox, I don't even like you. But I'm not there to win autographs or kiss kids or hug people. I'm there to see my Russian Brute get his hand raised in victory.
One more question, Oxbaker, before we get out of here, and I'm going to give the date and the time and the ticket outlet to everybody one more time. But Oxbaker, is it true that since you've realigned with the Russian Brute, that you have in some way become a Russian supporter? Somebody told me that you want to...
That night I want all the fans to say, Premier Oxbaker, the Premier, because, you know, the leader of the Russian people is the Premier. I want to be known as, you say hello to me, say, Premier Ox, Premier Ox. Let's say it together, Premier Ox.
Oh, Lord. Well, we'll be able to get your head in the door that night. We're going to have to grease the sides just to get it in.
What is the time on that show, February 8th, by the way?
I'll tell you, you will not want to miss this. It is the Russian Brute Oxbaker back together for the first time in 25 years, facing probably the most famous Russian wrestler of all time, Nikolai Volkov, in a flag match. Nikolai representing the American side, Ox and the Brute represent Premier Oxbaker, excuse me.
Premier Oxbaker.
Yeah, I know.
Getting his hand raised at the end of that match. Premier Oxbaker. That's got a ring to it, you know what I mean?
Remains to be seen. Representing the Russian side, legendary author, Ohio State personality, Satch Solinger, special guest referee, former Cleveland Brown, former Ohio State Buckeye, former state senator Dick Shafrath in Nikolai Volkov's corner, plus a whole host of other matches. Uncle Hogg will be on hand, Lockdown, your old manager Percival Friend will be on hand. We're going to keep him in a locked room during that match.
Hey, I'm so worked up, I think I'm going to go down and find me a midget and knock him down.
A classy guy as always. This is coming up on Saturday, February the 8th.
Premier Oxbaker.
Oh, dear God. 7 p.m., 775.
Premier Oxbaker. I love the sound.
Good Lord. Well, you'll have the hat and the flag, the whole bit. I can see it already.
I'll have all that, and I'll have a winner also. Mark that down. February 8th.
7 p.m., 775 North Main Street, the Hogg Center. You can get your tickets right now, $8 a seat, by going to U.S. Gold on Mount Vernon Avenue right next to Perkins. Get those seats. Check us out on Facebook, Classic Championship Wrestling, Marion, Ohio. It is going to be a combustible situation come February the 8th. Oxbaker, what's the final word?
All I'm going to say is I said I was going to be a winner when I started out, and February 8th I'm going to prove to be, I'm going to be still a winner and still have my championship belt. And let's say it together, Premier Oxbaker.
Joseph Stalin is turning in his grave. February the 8th.